What will Clemson's new look backfield look like in 2025? And can they be better than Will Shipley and Phil Maffa? We'll talk about it right now on Locked on Clemson.
You are Locked on Clemson, your daily podcast on the Clemson Tigers. Part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, Tiger fans? Morgan Thomas here, Clemson fan, Clemson grad, host and producer of Locked on Clemson, part-time host and producer over on 105.5 FM The Roar. Thank you so much for making Locked on Clemson your first listen every day. We are part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day. If you're new to the show, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button so you never miss an episode, because you know how we do it here. If you're an everydayer, exclusive Clemson content, you are going to get it Monday through Friday as we go throughout the season. Every single episode is all about your Tigers and what we expect for this season and going forward. Don't forget, in between episodes, you can continue the discussion by talking to me over on X at the Morgan T Show, where we can talk about Clemson however and whenever you would like. Today's episode is going to be a good one because CJ Spiller recently came out and talked to the media, and he was talking about that one group that we have a big question mark behind. What will the running back and the rushing attack look like in 2025? How good will Adam Randall actually be? And how quickly will we see Gideon Davidson in the rotation for this season? He talked about all of that, and we asked him, the media group asked him a bunch of questions about what we can expect for 2025. He believes that Clemson's rushing attack will be more dangerous without having to have one solid superstar because of the rotation, the cohesion, the bond of brotherhood that he has built in this running back group. Now, this is the running back group that really is CJ Spiller's running back group. I mean, we talked about and talked about some of the frustration of CJ Spiller. He was a little bit slow with the recruiting game. You know, he had to figure it out from the college level. He's added in a few good players here and there every single year. He does seem to have some years where he misses completely, or just goes after one guy, which is, you know, seems kind of contrary to what everybody else is doing. But hey, when has Clemson ever done something that everybody else is doing? But Clemson has some very talented players on the roster. Do they have one superstar? Well, a lot of fans would go ahead and tell me, Morgan, they have Gideon Davidson, this true freshman, you know, 6 foot, 200 pound from Virginia. Looks like he's already a superstar, one of the best running backs in the country, the best running back and player out of his state of Virginia. So yes, they do have a star, but do they have a superstar at running back for 2025? It seems as CJ's saying they're not even worried about that. They're really more focused on what kind of rotation they can have, which kind of seems interesting to me because, you know, they really didn't have a rotation last year. It was all Phil Maffa to the point of he got wore down and was not serviceable towards the end of the season. So that's kind of the unfortunate thing, is that Phil Maffa couldn't play 100% or not even be, I think, 80% in some of those games at the end of the season. Looking back as a fan, I kind of would think the coaches would want to do something different. Well, we're definitely going to see something different in 2025 because they've got, from what we're seeing, a running back group that's more of a committee than just one specific superstar. And CJ Spiller talked about how he's opening up spring and this offseason by making sure everybody in his group are on the same page. They're embracing this running back by committee mindset and being cohesive and having a brotherhood, as he mentioned, and ditching any kind of jealousy or envy over each player's amount of snaps and carries that they get. You want some obvious competition, but if you're going to go in and have a group of racehorses out there, CJ kind of said he wants his racehorses to have blinders on, where they're not talking about what other players are doing. They're focused on what they can do for the team. They're focused on moving forward and being kind of immune to that peripheral not looking at the outside noise, not looking at what the other players or even teammates are doing, and really kind of feeding off of each other in a positive way and not feeding off of each other in a negative way to breed jealousy. Will Shipley and Phil Maffa, I think, did a really good job of working well together. Although Will Shipley, we know, had a moment where he was pretty frustrated with CJ and got up in his face and screamed at him. I don't know exactly all the backstory between all that, but we got to see that publicly. There was some frustration there, even in the scenario of Shipley and Maffa, that was good. So I am very interested to see, is this just coach talk, or are you really going to do a running back by committee? Are you going to have a couple of guys that you're going to rotate? Because to me, I do think that you have a good enough roster of running backs to rotate through, and you got guys that should be good at specific things that you would want out there more in certain situations. The only problem with that, if you do it too much, is then the defense knows exactly what you're going to do, because then they have film on you. And they know, okay, well, when you have Keith Adams Jr. in here, it's a short yardage situation and he's the hammerhead and he's going to just run it up the gut. Or when you have Jarvis Green out here, he's a fast, shifty guy and he's going to run to the outside. So you don't want to get to a point where you're predictable, but you do want to have a rotation of guys in there. And you want your group to definitely be selfless when you're going to have a running back by committee. All about the team yardage, the team efficiency, not about having one superstar outshine the other. And Clemson has had that right now, or in the past. They've had that with ETN. He was the superstar. They had that with really Shipley was a superstar at a time, and then Maffa got his own opportunity. So this group, though, is at least at the beginning of the season not going to be that way. Whether or not fans really would like to tell me that, my friend Marty always tells me, hey, Morgan, I want to see nothing but Gideon Davidson. And I got to say, after watching the house call video, the highlight on Adam Randall, I was pretty emotional watching that, because he is a Clemson Tiger through and through. Adam Randall has put in a lot of work. He's from the state of South Carolina. He's from Little River. My family, we vacation down there, North Myrtle Beach. We vacation down there at Sunset Beach, Ocean Isle, in that area, Little River. We eat dinner there a lot. So we know that area, and we've gone down there every year, and we love it. And this guy was a Clemson fan through and through. Even as a kid, he wanted to be on a Clemson Tiger. He hasn't worked out as a wide receiver, but now he gets an extra opportunity. And when you remember how good he was in high school, he has talent to where he just needs to get the ball and get open space. And I'm talking about Adam Randall in this case. But CJ Spiller wants healthy competition. He doesn't want, talking behind each other's back. He wants adversity to be faced head on. He doesn't want anybody to kind of have hurt feelings by any means, because it is a business, and CJ's got to protect his job by playing the best player in the right time and in the right spot. No friction to disrupt what Clemson is trying to do. Completely trust what each other, is in there to do. Now, when you think about trusting each other, you'd probably think Gideon Davidson wants all the carries too. You probably think Adam Randall wants all the carries. And hey, even David Eziomume wants all the carries. But there are even guys that I haven't mentioned that also probably want carries too. It's going to be hard to share as much. To me, I would think my first three out the gate are going to be Adam Randall as running back 1, David Eziomume running back 2 because of how good of a spring he's had, and then running back 3 would be, for me, Gideon Davidson. Now that is a good, to me, complementary set. And then you have those other guys like Jarvis Green and Keith Adams Jr. that can rotate in. And then Jay Haynes, once he gets healthy, that can rotate in and kind of start to earn their opportunities as well. Do they have a proven 1,000-yard rusher this season? Even if they did have one, I doubt they will get to that point. And it goes back to what CJ Spiller's goal is for 2025. And the goal to me is depth. College football actually rewards running back depth. If you have guys that you can rotate in and out, teams like Georgia rotate. Teams like Michigan rotate. They don't just stay on one running back because you can't keep them healthy for a whole season. We've already seen that with Phil Maffa. So I do like with what CJ Spiller is doing or what's saying and what his mindset is with this group, because I do feel like it fits this group better for 2025. Hey, we're going to continue to talk about the running back, specifically highlighting more about Adam Randall and how he's going to be a matchup nightmare for 2025. Time to fuel up and turn it up with 5-Hour Energy Transfusion. It brings the bold grape, ginger, and lime flavor to your favorite golf drink, minus the alcohol, into a quick, energizing shot. Whether you're sinking birdies or just making memories with friends, this one's a hole-in-one for your energy game. Let's be honest, some days on the course or off of it, you just need that extra boost to stay sharp and energized. I know when I'm out there doing my flight school and I have multiple flights and then I have a simulator and then I have a class, there's a lot that's going on at one time, and sometimes I just need to get through the day, and that 5-Hour Energy, especially the transfusion flavored one, helps me get through the day, gives me that extra shot of energy. You can put it in for whether you're studying a lot like me, or whether you're out there on the golf course and put it in your golf bag for the back nine if you need it. Golf is all about good times with good people, good flavors, of course, as well. The grape ginger lime flavor gives you the best parts of your clubhouse to go without having to go to the beverage cart. If you go to 5hourenergy.com today, that's the number 5hourenergy.com. You can use my promo code LOCKEDONGolf to receive 20% off your order. This offer is only valid until September 30th on one order and cannot be used with other promotions. The code is not good on subscription orders. Whether you're meeting up with friends or trying to turn 18 holes into 36, get the energizing boost you need to power through. Order transfusion flavored 5-Hour Energy shots today. CJ Spiller continued to tell us about what he thinks is going to happen for the 2025 season with his running back group. You know, we've talked about needing to do a running back by committee. We've talked about them needing to be unselfish and focus on what's better for the team and really focus on team yardage versus individual yardage. It's going to be hard to do in today's day and age. What young man or young lady doesn't want to think about themselves just a little bit? Even me, as I get a little bit older, you know, that selfish opinion about, hey, I want my shot and it's my time and what I've earned, is hard to push aside. But hopefully CJ has done the right things this offseason to kind of build this camaraderie, this brotherhood, to focus on the team goal, because it does make sense. You don't have one superstar that can turn up and turn out for this team apart from the rest. I do think they need to feed off of each other and work well together. Now, I've even said, too, in kind of a contradiction to that, while we know that they're going to rotate, Adam Randall really, to me, does provide a huge NFL-type matchup nightmare. Clemson can weaponize him in the wheel routes, in the screen routes, in the leak out from the backfield, because he's 240 pounds now. He could be one of those Marshall Faulk type guys that kind of gets out into the open space and just does work. You know, he has the hands, you know, he knows how to run routes. And I do feel like he'd be better matched up against a linebacker and a nickel and an interior cornerback than an outside guy, because we know he kind of struggled on the outside. He's a veteran. He's been at Clemson for multiple years now. He slid into the running back group kind of by necessity because, you know, he wasn't going to fit in as a wide receiver anymore. And it was still kind of an experiment. But he is a talented athlete, and you remember it from his high school days and how well he did at North Myrtle Beach. He is a guy with the ball in his hand, can score 4 touchdowns in 10 minutes in one quarter. This is a guy who can be electric with the football in his hand. They just got to figure out how to do it at the college level. CJ Spiller has been drilling him on being patient, waiting behind blocks, something that you really don't have to do as a wide receiver. leveraging his vision and his route running savvy, but also mixing in the key points of a running back with that patience and seeing the open gaps, understanding what your offensive line is doing. Randall's ability to be kind of that hybrid player can really force linebackers to be on to hold true and be honest to what he's doing, can maybe even paralyze their decision making, opening up what Garrett Riley can do to attack the linebackers. Even if you don't use Adam Randall in that play, they have to focus on him. They can't ignore him. And so Randall, his ability, you got to think that he's not going to be a true running back number one guy. Even though I do think he'll start out as the starter at running back, to me, he's going to be one of those running backs that is going to be used out of the backfield as a receiver, a guy who kind of, maybe he chips, maybe he cuts a little bit, but then he rubs off and goes out and to find an open spot. You remember how good Travis Etienne was, Travis Etienne was when he was with Clemson, and Trevor Lawrence was able to throw checkdowns to him. I could see Adam Randall being kind of a checkdown monster as well, to convert first downs, and also not just make running backs or not make linebackers hesitant, but make safeties hesitant as well. I do feel like this is the best spot for Adam Randall, and I am leaning more towards he's going to have more success than not. Cade Klubnik also came out and said that he's gotten much more confidence with his pass protection. You know, him and Cade are really good friends. So they've been working together on their timing, what's expected from a running back as far as the blocking schemes, what's expected from a running back as far as picking up the blitzing linebackers or the edge rushers. He's got to make sure that Cade Klubnik trusts him in that area as well and keeps Cade upright, because he's going to be out there. It's not always going to be a play to him. It's going to be a play to someone else as well. And Cade has to be upright to be able to make those throws. But I trust Adam Randall of anybody to be able to make that transition. He's been playing football since he was like 4 years old, so he knows what it takes at any position, and he is definitely a versatile guy that can do what Clemson is asking for him. So while I understand the hype around Gideon Davidson, I really do, and how I understand that there's some concerns with what will his footwork look like as a running back? What will his patience look like as a running back? Will he be able to have the vision that you need to hit the hole? Well, we kind of saw a little bit of it against Texas, even though, you know, I know when I mention that, you'll probably already tell me, well, Morgan, that was just one play, but it's a hint that it's possible, right? What we know is we have a little bit of film, we have a little bit from the spring, and we know that he's someone that can at least be trustworthy at the running back position. And it is an area where he possibly could exploit some weaknesses against the defenses that are out there that he will be faced up against. Now, could he be a Deebo Samuel? I know everybody kind of said that name. I don't think we need to have that at all. You know, I think it goes back to what CJ Spiller mentioned. They don't have to have one superstar. When I think of Deebo Samuel, I think of a guy who is just so above and beyond better than everybody else around him that he becomes the superstar. Same thing with the Travis Etienne. They're just so much better than everybody else around him that you can't deny them the football in almost every scenario. I don't think that Adam Randall will be that guy in that area, but he could be the answer to keeping defenses honest, to keeping them on their toes, to making them hesitate. Again, when it comes to offense and playing with tempo, playing with timing, if you can disrupt the defense's timing by the alignments and the personnel that you have on the field, you're going to get an offense that is going to have big-time, double-digit explosive plays throughout the season. And I think Adam Randall will be one of those guys that benefits from it, but also just his presence out there could help other players have more opportunities as well. It's pretty interesting to see where Clemson's going to go with this. Again, my prediction is to start with Adam Randall and then Ezeomume and then sprinkle in some Davidson. If he starts popping off some big plays, you keep Davidson in there, but you keep a rotation of 3, and then depending on how the game goes, you sprinkle in a little bit of Keith Adams Jr. or Jay Haynes or Jarvis Green for unique situations where you want to keep some fresh rotation with legs out there. But those top 3 guys, I think, are going to get the share of the snaps while the other guys work their way in and help build trust from CJ Spiller. I will definitely be shocked if you see nothing but Adam Randall game 1, or if you see nothing but Gideon Davidson game 1. I will be shocked by that. However, though, he also had time to tell us about what his thoughts were on Gideon Davidson. And he did mention that he believes Gideon Davidson is truly a day 1 ready running back as a true freshman. We'll talk about it at the final segment here on Locked On Clemson. Freshman Gideon Davidson, man, oh man. He is going to be one of those guys that everybody's going to talk about all season, because I do feel like he's going to have a big play. He's going to bust something open. I just have a feeling, but it's inevitable based on the talent, based on what we've heard about him, based on what we've seen so far. He will have a game or two, a play or two, where he's just going to bust one open. I believe that. Is he ready to be the running back 1, the full-time starter, the superstar, the 1,000-yarder? I don't know if Dabo has that intention, and I don't think CJ Spiller has that intention, at least to start the season off. He's going to punch his ticket to get into the open rotation at the very beginning of the season. I think you will see Gideon Davidson. You will see Gideon Davidson game 1 against LSU at Clemson. And he has a lot of hype to go with him. I mean, a lot of people talking about how he reminds them of Travis Etienne. But high school and success in high school, even though I know he's highly talented, he's highly recruited, he's got to be able to show and adjust to the college speed and the college physicality that he will get from a top-ranked team in LSU in game 1. He does look like a grown man already. He does look like somebody who hasn't been shy from the weight room. He's dominated the weight room. He's busted through a bunch of benchmarks, set new records for himself, personal records, and according to CJ Spiller, has really been in the film room more than what he typically sees as a true freshman. So this kind of preparation, this kind of development in the offseason is a surefire way to put trust into your coach and to allow for a guy like a true freshman to be an early contributor for Clemson. I think Dabo Swinney and CJ Spiller want to see how dedicated you are to putting in the work when nobody is watching, and they will reward that. I don't know if they will start him. I believe that they will start Adam Randall, but Gideon Davidson is NFL ready as far as a physique goes. He's 213 already, 5'11". He's got a great burst, sub 4.4 guy. He can pump out a bunch of reps, the bench press. He's physically there. Can they focus him to fit the schemes that they need, to have the conditioning for a long season, and to pick up the plays quickly and the schemes and the blocking assignments quickly? CJ mentioned that Gideon Davidson is a guy who, what he said was heads down, ears open. And that's his approach. And that's a veteran type of approach. That gives you some good respect for your coach. Your coach sees that kind of work ethic. Work ethic trumps star ratings 100%. That kind of stuff helps get you into the rotation quickly. And it not only gives you good feedback from your coach and trust from your coach, but also the players around you. We mentioned about this having to be a running back group. Well, a running back by committee. you know, Adam Randall and Easy Omume and Jarvis Green and Jay Haynes and Keith Adams Jr., they're not going to just let anybody come in and put in zero effort and get reps, talent or not. And I don't think CJ or Dabo are going to do that either. But you really don't have to worry about that with Gideon Davidson because it seems as if he's hit the ground running. I do believe that from what we're hearing, he may get some rotation in the kick return game. This is Gideon Davidson. Maybe a punt returner, a kick returner. I'm curious to see if they'll use him early on in the season or if they'll go with someone more reliable like an Antonio Williams or a Tyler Brown or someone like that. I do feel like that Clemson has been more open to trying out younger players or true freshmen in those special teams roles more quickly than in, a traditional running back role. But he is one of those guys that just has that kind of talent where you're going to have him on the field. You cannot play a whole first game of the season and not see him till the end. I'm still extremely upset about how they did TJ Moore, Bryant Wesco, and Sammy Brown last season. I think that was ridiculous. You let the game get away and then you put them in the game. They can't afford to do that in 2025. They can't afford to let LSU get up by multiple touchdowns and then put in Gideon Davidson. He's talented enough. He's obviously, according to CJ Spiller, not according to me, but according to Spiller, put in the work. So trust your recruiting, trust the talent evaluation, trust what you're seeing in the offseason with the dedication to development, and reward that with playing time, with rotation, and with snaps. Because ultimately, you need to win these games, and you can't win these games with your most talented guys, regardless of how they, how inexperienced they may be. You need to get them into the rotation, and I hope Clemson does that at the very beginning because CJ is telling us he's day one ready, game one ready. Well, then we want to see it. Game one, day one, we want to see that for sure. I believe it will happen. I'm looking forward to that rotation. I'm excited because I do think that that's the right chemistry that you need. That's the right game plan you need for modern college football to get into a further, a deeper season like we're seeing with these 15-game seasons going forward in college football. Hey, thank you so much for making Locked On Clemson your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the Portal Show. Brian Smith has the latest rumors, portal entries, and signings. Be the most informed fan of the rapid changes to the college football landscape. Find the Portal on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. And as always, Tiger fans, thank you so much for being a part of the show. Everydayers, big shout out to you for sticking with me to the end of the show. I know it's tough in the offseason to kind of speculate and to keep talking about all the what ifs, but I promise you every time you listen to this episode, we're one day closer to getting to the start of the football season. I know you're excited for it. I am as well. Thank you so much. And as always, Tiger fans, we'll see you at the top of the hill.